Otro video para ti hoy. Este es Ron de con NComputers.com. Muy rápido, quickly. Another video, another fucking problem solved. Third-party website, blah 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 blah. Supplemental income, blah 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 blah. Autodesk Inventor 2018. So let's cut to the chase. Here is the question. I am trying to get Autodesk Inventor student version running in my computer unsuccessfully. Can you tell me who could help me doing that? Windows 7 Home Premium, MS 2009. Service Pack 1, Dell XPS 8300, 16 gigabytes of RAM, 64-bit. I downloaded Autodesk Fusion 360 student version about a year, but could never actually open it and try it. I tried downloading the Inventor version 16 recently, but it did not download, apparently because the Fusion version isn't my PC. I tried opening Fusion again, but couldn't. What I am after really is Inventor, since I had some previous experience with it, and I like to refresh and update my skills with CAD. AutoCAD, drafting, engineers. Could you connect to my PC, remove the Fusion version, and download and install Inventor version 16 and set it up ready? Yes. So that's exactly what I did. I remotely connected to this customer. They paid me. I got compensation. And then what I first tried was to uninstall the Fusion 360. Now when it comes to somebody else besides myself, I don't bullshit around telling them, well, you know, you should do this, you should run an optimizer first. Well, you know what? Why do you have this antivirus loaded? No. Cut to the fucking chase. Get to the point. I followed their instructions. Okay, you want me to remove Fusion 360? Fine, let's go. So you go into Control Panel, Programs and Features. Remove the motherfucker. Well, it wouldn't remove. Well, then what do you think I did? You want to take a guess? This is a tip. Look to see if there's other processes running. I went into Task Manager, and sure enough, God, my nose itches too much. I hate it. Maybe it's the environment, all this pollution that these fucking pale-skinned Europeans created since they murdered off 95% of my ancestors and then stole this continent. Moving on. Check to see if there's other running processes. There was 4 to 5 Fusion 360 processes already running. It looked as if this individual had tried to uninstall Fusion and they kept trying it. They just kept trying it, get an error, and they kicked it off 4 or 5 times. Well, the problem with Microsoft Windows, it's a piece of shit operating system, number one. Number two, a lot of times processes don't end sufficiently. So that's why you go into Task Manager and look for processes that are still running. So I ended all of them, and then I went back into Programs and Features, and I was able to successfully remove Fusion 360. So that's step one, major step one. Step two is then to try to install this software. So I did a search. I asked them, well, you know, where do you have it, or do you want me to try to install Inventor version 16? Because that's what they said. That's what they wanted. Well, they didn't know where it was at. I don't know how you cannot know where you download shit, but whatever. So I went to the root of the C, which is root, C drive, and I went into File Manager, Windows Explorer, and I typed in the upper right-hand corner search bar Inventor, and sure enough, I found it, and I double-clicked it, and I got an abort error, which is included in my blog post. You might want to click the link below in the description box of this video, as I rhyme, so that you'll get taken to my website, NComputers.com, where I have abstract written instructions, fully written. And I also included a direct link to Autodesk Inventor 2008 download page. Abort. There's the error right there. I received an immediate abort error. That's it. Nothing else. Just abort. In a little small window. Very skinny, not very tall. It just said abort. Okay, fine. You're an abortion doctor? You're a murderer? I mean, you believe in abortion? Okay, whatever. So then, once again, I went into Task Manager, and sure enough, there were some processes by fucking Autodesk that were running. And then I also made certain that, download utilities can get in the way, believe it or not, your virus software can get in the way, just shit like that. I tried to disable the firewall. That wasn't it. I ended some processes. Some of them were Autodesk, and there were a couple of other tools running, like some kind of download program. Why are you installing malware and spyware like that? You don't need download tool. Well, it's a paradox. You don't need these third-party download tools and these download toolbars, and the ones that claim that they'll make your downloads faster. That's bullshit. Now, if this software needs a downloader, yes, you install that one. But these download tools where you can download a bunch of crap off the internet suffer that consequences when you use those. So I'm pretty certain that the second problem, the abort error, was fixed by me ending some more processes on microcrap, microshit, microslop, windblow 7. Then I tried it again. I just double-clicked the web install executable, and it didn't get the abort error, but it didn't work. It didn't connect. It just like disappeared. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I've learned this many moons ago, decades ago, that when it comes time to installing software, you could sit there for hours, weeks, years trying to break yourself and break your mental paradigm, and you might need to fuck the medical industry, but whatever. You might make yourself mentally ill trying to get that software to install. So you know what? I said, fuck this, let's cut to the chase. I asked this individual, do you really need this, or do you want this? And well, what I ended up doing is I went directly to Autodesk's website and I found their catalog of free software. Now, in order to become able to download and use free software, it must be because you're a student and or an educator, and then you must create an account. Then you can use, I don't know if it's the exact same version that is commercial and paid for. I'm thinking it might be. And then you will get emailed a commercial license. But if you get busted, an educator license. If you get busted using their free software when you're not a student and you're not an educator, they can come after you. I don't give a shit about that. I'm just telling you. So I found their entire catalog of all the student and educator software that is quote-unquote free. And then I presented it to the client. I had them look, and each individual software has a separate web page. And he wasn't quite certain, because there was one called Inventor, Autodesk Inventor 2018. There was another one called fucking here, should I look it up? Who cares? It was some other fucking software I'd never heard of. And but it did say Inventor. It was just a different. Then he asked me what the difference was. I don't know. I'd have to sit there and I'm not an engineer. I don't use AutoCAD software. So, but he did browse through the two different links, and he chose Autodesk Inventor 2008 Professional. That's all I need to know. I don't give a fuck. Me personally, I don't give a fuck about the differences blah blah, this does this. I don't care. I just follow instructions. So he told me to install Autodesk Inventor 2018. Bam. He signed in with his Autodesk account. He already had one. Then you're going to get presented. You're going to have to sign in. Once you sign in with your account, there will be 3 drop downs that you're going to have to select. You're going to have to select the version of Autodesk Inventor that you want. Then you're going to have to select your operating system that you're using. Then you select the language that you want the version downloaded. There's different languages. And he picked all 3. Then there will be an install now button with an orange button. Click on that, and there's like 2 or 3 different choices. You can either click run, or you can save, and I think there was another one, whatever. Well, it didn't work, which I'm not surprised. Since he was already signed in, I went ahead and I downloaded again the 2 pieces of software to his downloads folder for him. Now, this is very important. There are instructions, but even me as a computer technician with over 2 decades of experience, their instructions were fucking confusing as fuck, and there were different ways of installing the software, and there's different versions. There's the commercial version, there's the education student version, there's a network version, there's a standalone version, there's a blah blah blah, and they clusterfuck all the instructions, and I was like, oh my fucking god, what the fuck did I just fucking get myself into, man? I think, you know what, I think I'm going to go for a walk in a park, and I'm just going to say, you know, forget this customer. No, that's not what I did, but that's about what I was thinking. They claim that you might have to use the Autodesk downloader. I think that's probably the easiest, best way. What you want to do is, again, this software has a download. I'm not a big fan of downloaders. Even if it's legitimate software, whether it's student or educational use or you paid for it. I'm not a fan of having to fucking install another piece of software on micro crap, micro wind blows operating systems. That to me is overkill. You shouldn't need to do that. However, when I tried to kick off the web installer, it wasn't working, man. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? So what I did was I downloaded both the Autodesk Downloader, which is a separate piece of software that is a download utility. Then I downloaded the web installer. There are 2 executables. I saved them in his downloads folder so that he could have them in the future if he ever needs to reinstall. And I went ahead and I double-clicked the executable for the Autodesk Download Manager, Downloader, whatever the fuck it's called. It installed successfully. I think first time I ran it and downloaded some shit and then it disappeared. I was like, look, I'm busy, man. I was helping another customer at the same time. So, and I was remotely connected into this computer where I was installing Autodesk Inventor 2018. I came back and I was like, the screen was blank. When I left, the Autodesk downloader install was, you know, the progress indicator for the downloading data, and then I was like, it disappeared. I was like, well, what the fuck? I ran it again, and I think it downloaded something really quickly, and then it disappeared. I was like, okay, fine, whatever. You're gonna fuck around and not throw up some kind of message, or okay, fine. Then what I did, and then I went into Start Programs and looked in the menu, and sure enough, Autodesk Downloader was successfully installed. You could also go into Control Panel, Programs and Features, and double check and verify that indeed Autodesk Downloader software is listed. Then I went ahead and double clicked on the web installer executable. It's a much longer name. It's like Autodesk Inventor 2018, you know, blah blah blah, web installer, blah, version 7.9, blah 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 blah. Okay, I double clicked that, and another window, a larger window popped up with a download progress indicator. And I was like, we've got gold. Here's the big gold. And that's the final step. You'll get a huge window with a download progress indicator at the bottom. And then eventually some shit downloaded, and then I was presented with a large list of software that was going to get installed. They were all selected by default. All of them were checked. And I was like, what? Holy fuck. There was around 28 gigabytes of data that would need to get downloaded. So instead of clicking install, I asked the client through Notepad. I was like, do you want all this? And I was like, this is going to take up 28 gigabytes. He's like, yes, I have enough space. Which they did. I think they had either half a terabyte or a terabyte hard drive, and most of it was free, but whatever. Well, no, that's not true. They had all kinds of software. Let me give you my tips at the end that might save you a lot of headaches. I clicked install, and then the data started downloading. Progress indicator, download progress indicator. There were statistics like 7 megabits per second, 5 megabits per second, but I sat there for 5-10 minutes, you know, babysitting, and I was like, 100 megabytes. By the very end, before I left, it only downloaded like 200 megabytes. This is where I am diametrically opposed to downloading software, because you're using software to download software. So you're throwing another wrench into things. And so this downloader is legit because it's with Autodesk, but I don't think it's necessary, man. You should be able to, now you could probably download it. If you knew the links, you could probably figure out where the exact executable is located so that you could just right click it and save as. Whereas now you're using this Autodesk download software, which is a separate piece of software, and then from within there it connects to Autodesk servers, and then it downloads the software. Well, again, man, that to me is redundant, and it just slows shit down, and you can have problems. What if that software is buggy? What if it freezes? What if that has problems? I'm not a fan of using any kind of fucking download application, ever. You know what I'm saying? I just don't use that crap. I want the direct link to the executable, and then I will right-click, save as, choose a folder, bam, and then through or I don't even like to use web browsers to download. You're using HTTP protocol to download data. I prefer command line. You can use Python to directly down, or you can use on Linux, you can use wget. You know? But I digress. Eventually, so I took off because I don't think the statistics were correct. To me, it should have been much quicker than that. It should have been lightning fast if it was downloading at 7 or 5 megabits per second. I mean, it should have been moving along. But there was about 12 gigabytes of data that still needed to get downloaded. So it could be a false positive. Maybe those were incorrect results. Maybe the progress indicator is like Microsoft Progress Indicator, where it's not true, it's not accurate, whatever. Whatever. Well, excuse me. So I left my customer last night. Today, they messaged me, and they claimed that, well, the download progress indicator was still running, but it was real slow, and then they claimed that not all the software was installed, but they did claim that some of their software is installed. I think it was, okay. I'm looking at their message right now. Okay, the download progress numbers have not changed since 4 a.m., and there is a slide bar indicator showing connecting. The download progress numbers were moving up rather quickly before it came to a halt. So, should I take that download as frozen? Perhaps. The Inventor installation window has remained open and appears to be trying to connecting in slide bar progression indicator. It stopped downloading about 4 a.m. with 7.07 gigabytes of 11.87 gigabytes downloaded. Overall progress slide bar indicates 20 of 43 remaining. I'm not sure what the 20 out of the 43. It could be 43 separate software packages that are involved with this fucking AutoCAD software. That's what I'm thinking. There could be small pieces. You know what I'm saying? I know Visual C++. I saw that download. That would have been installed. It might have to use .NET Framework. It might need Java. Who knows? It is about 2 p.m. now. There was an icon installed on the screen, Autodesk Inventor, which I clicked on, and it opened Inventor. So this is another caveat that I don't like about developers, is they don't really tell you. It just has a progress indicator. They don't warn you. Oh, okay, well, we're going to download pieces of data one at a time. We're going to download data one at a time, linearly, sequentially, and then we're not going to... What I'm trying to tell you is that some software packages, especially when you use their web installers, let's quickly define what a web installer is. A web installer is a smaller executable that runs on your local computer, and then it goes out to a server on the internet, on a website, and pulls down and downloads data, and then it'll start installing that rather than downloading the entire executable. Me, as a computer technician, I don't like to fuck with web installers unless I have to. They're convenient, but I prefer just to download the entire executable. I don't care if it's a gigabyte. And then I run it, because as a technician, I've noticed with pattern recognition that you'll have less problems if you have the entire installer locally. You know what I mean? But there are times when a web installer is convenient. You know what I'm saying? This suite, if you want to call it, this Autodesk AutoCAD suite, it looks as if it will download potentially 43 separate pieces of software, and it will just, as soon as the download for that particular piece finishes downloading, then it'll kick off an installer. It doesn't tell you anything. It doesn't pop up saying, oh, we are now installing Visual C++. Now, in order to install Visual C++, it's going to open up a window from Microsoft, but it's not like the Autodesk downloader software tells you that. Or it doesn't have a separate indicator. It doesn't have a download indicator, and then it doesn't have a install indicator. Oh, we just installed 10 of 20, or in this case, 20 out of 43. But in the background, there's no doubt that that's what it does. So you need to become aware of that, because number one, you're downloading data. You're downloading massive amounts of data, while at the same time, all these pieces of software are getting installed also, although you may not realize that. I clicked a few demos and closed it and seemed to be working, so that's a good sign. A license was issued, so he got emailed a license and mailed this morning about 10 a.m. The installation progress monitor shows it is working, connecting, but does not change from this point. What should I do? Should I do anything or just wait till tomorrow? And then I don't need to read what my own solution is. I was like, that was quote verbatim from this customer. My response to that was, if you can decipher whether or not the Autodesk download manager or download software is still downloading data, if you can tell that the progress indicator is moving, even if it's short, even if it's, slow, 100 megabytes every 10 minutes or half an hour, I wouldn't fuck with it, because you're dealing with 28 gigabytes of data. So if you can tell that the progress indicator is still moving, data is still downloading, programs are still installing, don't touch a thing. Don't fuck with it. Don't fuck with your internet router. Don't fuck with your Wi-Fi router if you're connected over Wi-Fi. Don't touch anything. Leave the computer alone. Close all other applications. Leave this running. If it takes a week, it takes a week. You know why I say that? Because my years of experience, if you have to abort an install... Now, in my opinion, over the last 10 to 20 years, software is a lot more flexible. Back in the day, if you dare abort it, or if you dare ended an install midway, back the fuck up, because you're about to get smacked the fuck up by Microsoft, number one, and the developer, number two. And you may have just fucking caused a major crisis, meaning the next time you try to reboot that Windows machine, it ain't gonna reboot. It's not gonna boot normally, and you're fucked. And then there's where you start, oh my god, my TPS reports are due in. God damn it, Aaron! What? God damn it, Aaron! What are you doing fooling around installing AutoCAD? You're not even an engineer, Aaron. God damn it! You're an idiot, Aaron. You wouldn't understand AutoCAD. You're not an engineer. Oh my god, Aaron! If you dare design any kind of buildings in America, heaven, God help us. God damn it, Aaron, your TPS reports are due in tomorrow. Quit fucking around. See? Whereas the last, 10 years, software is much more flexible. You can get away with a frozen indicator. You can go into Task Manager and end that task. And, but I'm telling you, I'm warning you, man. I'm warning you with this fucking shit with Microsoft, man. I'm just warning you. If you think that the installer has frozen, the download manager, at this point, the download manager, here's a couple quick tips. You might want to disconnect your internet. Unplug your Ethernet cable. If you're at Wi-Fi, disconnect the Wi-Fi, reconnect. Or go into network neighborhood, disconnect your Ethernet connector, your LAN, local area network connection, re-enable it. It could be some kind of fucked up timeout. Their internet access isn't down, because obviously they were able to message me. But again, you're dealing with Microsoft. You're dealing with computers, man. You're dealing with massive amounts of fucking data that has to get downloaded. And it could be crappy software. It could be the fucking goddamn Autodesk download manager. I don't know. That sucks, or it might be bloated. You're throwing in another wrench that you don't... Look, you're just trying to remove 4 bolts off of your wheel. You have a flat tire. You've got a spare tire. You've got a jack. You're jacking up your vehicle. You've got the wrench that allows you to take off the bolts from your wheels. It's only 4. but you're trying to use another tool. Well, you got the wrench that came with the goddamn fucking dummy that came with the spare tire. Why are you trying to use some pliers? Or why are you trying to use a wrench from another vehicle? Stop it. See, keep it simple, stupid. That's why I'm opposed to these fucking goddamn download manager pieces of software, even if they're legit. I'm not blaming anybody at Autodesk. I'm just saying my logic tells me just don't do it that way. Just don't do it. But I can kind of see where it makes it easier and convenient for people. So if that doesn't fix your problem, here's where my tips are. I think this is a long blog post. Let's see. Yeah, I went through most instructions. Click on the install, and then, like I said before, you want to install the Autodesk Download Manager first. Kick it off once to make sure it works. It might download some crap and disappear. Then go ahead and run the web installer, and then that will open up the Autodesk Download Manager by itself, which will be a larger window, and then that's where you get to choose all the software that you get to pick, and then you just click install, and you do this shit. You sit back and keep your fingers crossed as fucking 28 gigabytes of data as it come down the pipe and has to download, and then you got fucking 43 possible separate pieces of software, and you're using a goddamn micro shit Windows operating system. You just fucking keep your fingers crossed. Don't touch that computer for a week. Just fucking go on vacation. All right, so here's my tips. My tip is that whenever you install software on micro shit, micro crap, micro slop, wind blows operating systems, start from scratch, start fresh, reboot your computer. You should probably reboot a Windows machine at least once a week, because Windows has Windows sucks. It's so poorly designed. There's so many problems with Windows operating systems, including Windows 10. It doesn't clear your cache correctly. A lot of programs will leak. It's called a memory hole. If you have a lot of programs running, like especially web browsers like Mozilla Firefox, it'll start chewing up your memory. If you go into Task Manager, and if you notice, these applications just grow, they get bigger, especially web browsers. That is technically a memory leak. Windows operating system is notorious for memory leaks. And then also, Windows doesn't flush the DNS cache properly. It could be a DNS cache issue. I didn't even really think about that, because I was like, well, this isn't rocket science. You just download the software. But I should have probably threw that in. Now, that's what the reboot is for too, but I wasn't really, thinking this as a DNS cache problem. Windows doesn't flush this DNS cache properly. You go into ipconfig/flush DNS. See, Windows doesn't do anything properly the way it's supposed to, the way an operating system is supposed to function. So now you do what you want. You can leave now I have a Windows Vista machine, but it's just a file server. I don't have anything. I only have like one or two pieces of software loaded. I have a proxy piece of software called Acrylic DNS cache, and then I have a Netman. I don't want to digress. I have two pieces of software that are very hard to find that make connecting to websites more efficient and connecting to a Wi-Fi router more efficient. Moving on. Other than that, I don't have any other software loaded, but it's just a server, and I've gone a month without rebooting it, and it works just fine. But that's different. You're dealing with a computer that you use every day for internet. Ashley Madison, chatting. You got all the software loaded, and that's an entirely different story. When you go to a major software installation, these are my tips. Reboot the motherfucker. Reboot it. Number one, reboot. Close all your applications. Close everything. Reboot it. Then, once you're logged in, after a fresh restart, then start the installation. Don't open anything else that you don't need. Don't open your iTunes. Don't open all your Messenger applications. Don't open your media player. Don't. I'm warning you, don't do it. I know you want to do it. I know you want to kick back and kick it with the homeboys and slug a 40 and, or whatever it is that you do while AutoCAD is downloading and installing. But I'm warning you, man. I wouldn't do it, man. If I were you, I wouldn't do it. Just open what you need. You're going to need a web browser so that you can log into the Autodesk. When you go to that link, you're going to need to sign in with your Autodesk account and then click on Install Now. Don't have a shitload of tabs open. Just open up your web browser, open up one tab, go to Autodesk, sign in, click on Install Now, and that's it. I'm warning you. Get another computer. Use your iPhone for a week, or just I don't think it's productive that you fuck around and have all this shit open while you're trying to perform a major software install. 28 gigs. And then this individual probably had to reboot because something's amuck, something's fucked up. But my experiences is that when it comes to performing a major software install, just keep it simple, stupid. Perform a restart first. Only open up what you need, just the basics. You could even, here's another tip. If you're having problems like this, what you could, and it's habitual, is you might want to boot into Windows Safe Mode with networking. That will be a slim line version of Windows. There'll be a lot less drivers. You won't have the bells and whistles. You won't have the tiles and all that horse shit, which I hate that fucking tiles on Windows 10. I disable all that garbage. Anyways, I digress. It's a stripped down version of Windows. Very few drivers get loaded. Just basic generic drivers. Just enough for you to function and get out on the internet. Then start the Autodesk Inventor 2018 install and see if now you have a lot less problems. But those are the breaks, man. As I look out at a major cross street with a bunch of goddamn Americans just banging into each other and flipping each other off and yelling each other and cutting each other off and speeding like goddamn fucking Danica Patrick. Danica Patrick never won one race, and she already retired. She never won a race. I'm not a I'm not a misogynist. I'm just saying. Although she did, I don't want to talk about her. I just noticed. I don't give a shit about that crap. I don't give a shit about sports. I just noticed that she retired, and the news made a big deal. It's like, well, yeah, she's a female, but I didn't think it was unusual. No, when Danica Patrick first started race car driving, I was a big fan of hers. But that was like almost 10 years ago, and now I don't give a shit about sports. And fucking IndyCar racing is NASCAR. I mean, you just watch a car go around circles. Near, 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 near. And they're overpaid. I mean, give me a break. All of those athletes are fucking clowns. Again, anybody can drive a vehicle. Again, we're brainwashed and sold on this concept that, these athletes and these politicians and these celebrities and these actors and actresses, they're better than us. Well, goddamn it, Aaron, you're a terrible actor. Hollywood should reject you, Aaron. You're not aesthetically pleasing. You have a voice for television and a face for radio, Aaron, goddamn it. Good luck with your good luck with your Autodesk 2018 Inventor install. Woo! 28 gigabytes of bloat. Adios.